everyone, Miranda Chongson. I'm going to do another video for you guys. At this point in time, you probably know who the guy is if you see on screen, but a little bit of a background trivia. We've been friends for over a decade now. We met each other, I think we were like 12 years old, no? So, and really, lakas ng loob, no? In fact, wow, I kind of forgot, no? I was part of his wedding and good friends with the couple. And you know, you see this picture. And everybody knows you as the sneakerheads, you know, the rubber shoes guy. All these younger people, when they look at you, and of course, you know, Carlo Ople, everybody say, oh, the sneakers guy. And even my children, when look at you as a sneaker. But what a lot of people don't know is this guy is really a brilliant corporate executive. And he's one of the top guys for a leading telco. Kayo na bahala maghula kung anong telco yon. Dalawa lang naman yung pagpipilian nyo. Okay? So, hindi po, so dalawa lang po siya. And he's really the guy behind, you know, amazing programs and so forth and so on. Aside, you know, I mean, he has been, you know, has done a lot of these things and a brilliant way to create income and stuff like that. So we have Carlo Ople. Carlo, kamusta na?
Hey guys, okay naman. Ito, nasa bahay. Okay naman.
So how has this crisis been treating you? What have you been busy with lately? I know it's work from home, pero, you know, marami ka pa rin ginagawa regardless, no?
So siguro three things. So unang-una sa lahat is yung like what you mentioned, the work from home. So work hasn't stopped. There are a lot of collaborative tools that you can use today to be able to still function. So like this one, like what we're using now. So Office, we use Microsoft Teams a lot. So in any given day, except for weekends, I have almost a full schedule filled with meetings. Pero instead of face-to-face, it's now virtual. So it really feels more work pa nga compared to before. Feeling ko mas madami ako
They're saying they actually have more work today than before.
Oh, ramdam siya. And siguro it's because of the environment, diba? So given the current situation, I think given the company that we're at, it's really critical that we, as much as possible, keep the services up. Kasi it keeps a lot of people connected and a lot of businesses connected. So I think that's the reason why all people, at least in my industry, are kumbaga very up and about every day. Mas parang dumoble pa nga yung trabaho kesa kumonte. So yun yung una sa work from home. Second is managing the digital businesses that I have. So I have a network of websites. I have a YouTube talent management agency. So those things I can run naman digitally. And I've been running them digitally for the longest time, which is nice kasi when this hit, those two businesses weren't affected as much. So kasi it's not your typical physical retail. It's almost everything is done digital and online. Even the way we operate as teams is online. So hindi siya masyadong impacted. Yung naging impact lang is collections sa bagal. Pero kung may cash flow ka naman kahit paano, that's okay. And lastly, I think as somebody who, and I speak for you din siguro in a way, lalo na yung mga tao may bahay at nakaka-uwi sa matinong lugar na may internet pagkain, I think we're called to bless people and to help as much as we can. So I've been spending whatever time I have in between my responsibilities to see how I can help, either by donating or contacting and connecting other people to certain people. So yun, more or less yun ang aking buhay ngayon. Lahat nasa bahay.
But it's good, you know, being in the house doesn't mean you're not productive, di ba? So, nila, no? ang dami ng ginagawang work, tapos ang dami pang utos, no, na...
non-stop.
Okay. So, hi, Michelle. So, alam mo yun, yung mga ganun bagay. So, we're really doing that. Now, I have a question for you, and because you have two hats, no? One is your business hat, and you're doing a lot of these things, and really props to you guys. I've known you for many years, and nagugulat na lang ako with these ideas that you come up with and just see it online. And then your corporate hat now. So let's start first with your, you know, be an entrepreneur and all these things. How do you remain relevant in times like this? And also, you can answer that from your other side, your corporate, your telco hat. And of course, we all know that that's very important. But how do you remain relevant at this point in time?
For the businesses that we have, so sabihin natin on the digital side. So I have a tech site, which is box.ph. So we churn out a lot of content that delivers value to our audiences. So nagpivot kami. Instead of gadget reviews, instead of smartphone reviews, the focus now more is parang, okay, in the age of this lockdown, for example, here's a list of online grocery apps that you guys can check out. Or here's a list of online payment applications that you guys can check out. or here are ways on how you can empower yourself using technology during this time. Here's a list of all, sabihin natin, websites that offer free e-learning services. So ang daming ways to be able to be relevant and to help if you run, sabihin natin, a media company or a tech website. So that's one part of it, no? Moving over naman to the talent management agency of the YouTubers. So we try to organize them as much as possible to help with either relief operations or donations. Kasi ultimately, one of the things that YouTubers have and media companies have are eyeballs. So these people have massive communities that look up to them, that can act if they are prodded. So as much as possible, we try to, push them and encourage them to get their communities to help in being part of the solution, and either staying at home lang or by donating or by whatever it is that they can do to help with the current situation that we have right now. The good thing kasi, as a media company, the traffic still gets monetized. So for example, if I create content na ganon, we still get paid because of advertising revenue. It's the same also with YouTubers. So maganda nga yung incentive to keep producing content that's relative, that's kumbaga fit for the times. So yun yung on the digital content creator side. From the telco perspective, obviously there are several things that we need to do. Yung pinaka-importante, I think, na pinakamagandang ginawa ni MVP, talaga nabanggit ko na kung saan, no?
Sabi mo, okay.
Okay, nabanggit ko na, or ng company namin is to take care of your workforce first. So, kasi responsibility mo yun eh. And that's a big way that you can help even the government, is by making sure that your people are protected, that your people have jobs, that you're able to set up a good work from home system, that you're able to empower your employees to do work from home, that you're able to provide them with either whatever benefits. So that's, I think, one of the most important things that any company can do. Yung pinaka-importante talaga dyan is you take a look at your workforce. Kasi yun yung pinaka-critical. Kasi kung matapos lahat to, itong gulo natin to, kailangan nandiyan pa rin sila, di ba? So, hindi na pwedeng mawala sila eh. So, kailangan alagaan mo talaga muna yung tao mo. From there, once you do that, it's really, at least for the telco industry, it's about supply chain management. It's about making sure that critical operations are ongoing, customer engagement, so that our customers know what we're doing. Yung problem kasi now, if the network goes down because of the skeletal workforce or whatever workforce we have, as well as the lockdown situation, it's a bit harder to do repairs. It's a bit harder to fix things. So the focus talaga now is making sure that at least the internet service is up and it's working. Kasi nga, it's critical at this time. Eh. Imagine mo kung walang internet ngayon, what would life be? Diba? It would be so much different. So it's a good thing that not just us, but even our friends are also doing their best to be able to keep the network up and running. So yun.
So I was just
PR nagsagot ko.
A little bit intrigued about your question about the YouTube community and everything. If you want them to participate in constant, know how to help, how to gather and use that. And I know from a altruistic perspective, okay yan, diba? We've been helping everything. Pero is there any business sense to be able to continue to do those things? I mean, for you to be able to pivot, trying to do more service, all these things. Meron bang ano yan? May business benefit ba yan? I'm just
if depends eh. Kasi if you're just creating content, pagkatapos people still watch, then obviously there's still advertising money that the YouTuber gets. So regardless whatever your topic is, as long as you have that community, then you can generate income on the advertising side. But obviously at this situation, you're mobilizing your community to give back. So hindi ka naman kumukuha ng cut doon eh. Sabihin natin if you're mobilizing donations or if you're pointing them towards certain areas to do their donations. So for example, ako, I have a YouTube channel with over 630,000 subscribers. So what I do is all of the videos that I make today, I either start or end with a call for people to donate to different NGOs and charities. And it's so easy na eh. Kasi before, para mag-donate, kailangan mo maghanap kung sino. Kailangan mo i-check kung okay sila. Kailangan mo maghanap paano magde-deposit ng pera sa bank account nila. Kailangan mo malaman if they're actually doing it or not. Now, you just have to go to either a Lazada or sabihin natin an app or Paymaya. And then, nandun na, nakalagay na lahat ng NGOs. It's so easy to donate online, virtually. And you're able to pick pa what you want to help. Sabihin natin, you want to help frontliners, or you want to help, sabihin natin, displaced families because the siguro yung either because of the lockdown or yung magulang na wala ng trabaho because of the quarantine. So yun yung maganda ngayon ng technology. It's so much easier to give back.
Okay. So Carlo, what are the challenges that you guys are experiencing? Again, in both hats, no? Your business side, your digital content and stuff. Of course, there are challenges right now. Although maganda, no, you're very digital. You're very the whole idea of work from home is not entirely different for you. Pero may challenges pa rin yan. What are the challenges you're facing? Again, in both hats. Sorry, I'm picking up your. I know you're hats, picking up your brain right now.
Siguro from the digital side, the digital business side. So this is Unbox, the YouTube channel as well as the talent agency. Mm-hmm. It's more the cash flow management more than anything. Kasi the advertisers are still there, the partners are still there. For now, if this extends, sabihin natin 2-3 months pa, I think it will be a very different scenario. That will have a big impact na on the full year siguro revenue picture. Kasi as it stands now, ang sinagasaan lang ang a couple of smartphone launches. So the campaigns that we usually do, hindi kasing dami. So may tama pa rin, pero manageable. Pero yun nga, it really depends on how long this goes. So there's that fear na parang we were able to buffer because we're a digital business. I think we can survive a little bit longer because we are a digital business. But the challenge is, if this goes longer, it becomes talaga more difficult to have good cash flow. So I think yun yung pinaka-challenge.
And you need to understand, this 2020 issue is not a financial crisis. It's a real economic crisis. Consumption, demand, and all these things are going to be affected. In fact, we're now looking at more realistic growth numbers, or if there's even growth, and that's gonna affect advertising budget and stuff like that. So do you also see, have you prepared for the eventuality that this advertising budget stuff, they will dry up? They will, or at least go through some challenges, all these things?
Well, ramdam na naman and I think one of the things that's good about digital is that you have multiple revenue streams. So hindi ka lang what do you call this, advertising driven.
Okay.
And if there's one thing I love to do, and siguro yun yung to answer your question on bakit some people know me as a sneakerhead when you know me as a marketing guy, but some people know me as a telco guy, or some people know me as a tech blogger. It's because I love to reinvent, and I'm excited every time I need to pivot. So if your business, and there's a saying, diba, if yung business mo hindi resilient proof, as much as possible, ikaw as an entrepreneur, recession proof pala. Recession proof ka, diba? Parang ganon. So ibig sabihin nun, you're able to see and figure out where to be able to create new opportunities and new value. So sabihin namin for us, at least from the content perspective, there you can go into merchandise, you can go into e-commerce, you can go into sabihin natin affiliate sales, you can go into, there's just so many ways to monetize an audience as long as you have that audience.
Okay.
Kasi sabihin natin the advertising revenue dries up, I still have 630,000 people that I can talk to. So that 630,000 people, maybe I can sell them a shirt, maybe I can sell them a bag, maybe I can sell them whatever it is I can sell them, an online course on how to be a YouTuber. So you just have to figure out how you can parang create more legs so hindi ka lang umaasa sa isa.
So Carlo, pivots are kind of easy for an entrepreneur, somebody like you can control that. But if you put your other cap, if you put that telco cap, now becomes a little bit different. Pivots and all these changes might be a little bit challenging. And somebody behind marketing in these programs, what would be your challenges? I know people still consume data and stuff like that, but when your economy starts to slow down, everybody will feel it.
Well, first and foremost, the priority is to keep Filipinos connected as much as possible. So regardless what it takes, it's really making sure that the network is up and running. The network is able to deliver data, calls, texts to most areas as possible. Every time it goes down, we should be able to fix it. Yun talaga yung number one priority. Kasi if we're not able to maintain the network and to keep it growing and expanding, then that becomes a major issue. Now, when it comes to pivoting, there's a lot of things that you can do in the data space. Eventually, you'll start to, sabihin natin a year from now, or sabihin natin 2 years from now, you have 5G. So what does 5G open up? Sabihin natin we can start getting into smart homes. Gets mo? So as long as you build the network kasi, there's a plethora of services that a telco can enter and offer and monetize later on. But you need a network and you need a resilient and strong network. So the priority, and if you take a look at sabihin natin yung CapEx expenditure ng PLDT, bulk of that talaga goes really to the network. I know not a lot of people, or sabihin natin not everybody is satisfied, and I think we have the humility to say naman na we're not always the best. But if you just take a look at the numbers, bulk talaga of the spend goes to improving and building out the network infrastructure for the Philippines. So I think yun yung pinaka-importante. Basta you have that, then you can start building on top of it. Kaya pa rin yan. There just needs to be that intent to take a look at other business streams and other business opportunities.
I guess you're also in a position wherein, you know, the way we're assessing things from a fund manager perspective, you know, I'm an investments guy, is that when you look at telcos, sa amin, ano yan we call it the neutral rating. Everything's negative, but telcos are, we look at it as a neutral rating. In fact, now more than ever, even your shares are even more attractive now because virtually you have a higher dividend number. Of course, slowing down of the economy will have an impact on everybody. I mean, you cannot, there's no such thing as you have the impact of that. But, you know, look at it from that perspective, then there's a little bit of a faster recovery on your part. Now, Carlo, how can you see it? What are the benefits that you see with this, what's happening now with crisis? Again, on both hats. Ano may nakita mo opportunities na meron? I mean, of course, there's always going to be opportunities, but what are the opportunities that you are seeing right now? I mean, I'm sure I know you're actually, your mind is already very active. You're thinking of the next wave or the next thing. You're now, I love this guy. He can monetize anything. You know, so, so, you know, if I can only get a small part of that monetizing skills of yours, hindi mo lang ma-monetize siguro asawa mo, no? But basically, we're
kami na YouTube channel together, so
we're good friends.
monetize.
The thing is, you know, I know you're excited for certain things, so, and you're looking at. Can you share a little bit of those things, yung mga what benefits and what ideas you can now think of without actually, you know, blurting it out and, you know, for competitors to copy?
Well, I think this will push e-commerce and accelerate it to a whole new level. So, kumbaga, if the speed of the growth was e-commerce, was sabihin natin, palagay mo ng 50%, because of this, what happened, it will accelerate, sabihin natin, 80, 90, 100%. Kasi businesses will realize that this can happen again.
Okay.
So, they have to future-proof themselves. And it's already clear that the businesses who are still making money now are businesses who can either sell online or who have customer databases and they can create like digital transactions. And sila pa rin yung nakakabenta hanggang ngayon. Unlike others who are forced to close 100%. So, e-commerce in the Philippines, I think, is definitely going to pick up even faster and even bigger. So if you're not into that, then you're going to miss out. So ako, for myself, we've started dabbling into it siguro mga 3 months ago. So we put up like talagang an apparel brand. Parang ako, gumawa ako ng apparel brand for the YouTube channel. So it's Project 7 to 1 namin. So yun yung title nung year. So we started selling shirts, we started selling bags, sold out naman every order. And kahit paano, I'm starting to get the feel for how the business is. And nakikita ko na ano yung mga problema, how do you get better margins, yung mga ganyan. So yun yung pinag-aaralan ko, e-commerce as a business, na ikaw yung may hawak ng buong supply chain. Kasi if hawakan mo yung buong supply chain end-to-end, doon gumaganda yung margins. So doon ako na-excite niyo sa e-commerce part. Secondly, another opportunity that I'm really into right now is this more your avenue and si Marvin sa stock market. So, sobrang nag-enjoy ako ngayon sa stock market. So, kasi ang baba so feeling ko, some of the prices I'm seeing now, if you take a look at the historicals, or some of the prices, these companies, this was like priced like 10 years ago.
Yes,
so, parang ang ganda talaga ng prices. So, since medyo liquid naman kahit papano, they were investing into several companies that we feel are really cheap given their fundamentals. So,
I think the PE ratios, some of the PE ratios are back to the 2008, 2009 numbers.
Kaya nga sobrang wild
We'll just look at the price and all these things. So very important. So that's a part. Now for your telco company, what are the, of course you're still going to go that and it's a challenge, but what are the opportunities you guys are seeing at this point in time? If you are at liberty to share, at least in broad strokes for that.
Alam mo, there are a lot of plans really taking into consideration, sabihin natin, 5G, and taking into consideration all the other technologies that telcos will bring in, but that's really kind of far off pa. We're looking at a 2 to 3 year like horizon, and I don't think that will change dramatic. Might be pushed back a year depending on how long this lasts. But ultimately, the challenge, like I'll keep going back to it. The network is not yet where we want it to be.
Okay.
While it is fast, it is strong, it is good. We want to keep improving it, and obviously, customer service is something that we want to take a look into, regardless if this happened or not. Customer service is something that you should always invest in, diba? So yun yung something that we still think that there's massive opportunity in trying to fix that customer experience for all the customers of the telco. So,
Carlo, from a more personal perspective, and this crisis is a black swan. We don't know what's going to happen. It happened, but you seem to be in a better position now than, let's say, when we first started to do our burger runs many years ago. How did you prepare for this thing? Did you prepare for these things, or was it a natural progression of what you've been doing today? I mean, babalik ka, parang kami ni Michelle, ganyan pinag-uusapan namin. But now, when I shifted to you, did you prepare for something like this? I mean, personally, as a businessman and as a head of the family?
Parang I didn't prepare specifically for a pandemic. I mean, I think nobody knew naman that there would be a pandemic and you should prepare for a pandemic. But I think it was siguro mga 1 or 2 years ago. I think maybe around 2 years ago. Medyo ganda nga ng timing where for some reason I think I don't know what term you use parang financial EQ ba yun? EQ, di ba? Dalawa yun, di ba? IQ at EQ. Parang yung EQ ko ng finance biglang sumipa sobrang pataas
Okay.
So,
I noticed that too.
Dati kasi mataas yung IQ, pero yung EQ mababa. so medyo nagbabalance na siya ngayon. So siguro around 2 years ago, mas naging long-term yung tingin ko sa use of money. While some people still look at it sometimes as frivolous spending, sabihin natin buying sneakers and buying toys. But what people don't realize is, for me, their business. So I can buy a sneaker right now, sabihin natin one of the ones at my back for like 10,000 pesos. But what people don't know is I can sell them for 20,000. Okay. So it's investment, but not in the traditional sense of thing. So when I started looking at toys and sneakers like that, nagbago din yung how I started to handle money. More stockpiling than anything else. So yun lang, parang through the years, ipon lang ng ipon. Buti na lang dumating to kahit paano, meron kaming panangga.
So Carlo, what triggered that? I mean, 2-3 years. I noticed that because I've been reading some of your texts. You're actually tweeting about the stocks and all these things. And parang, akala ko may nahack yung Twitter mo. No? But, we're friends for the longest time. It's not new that we're not talking about this. But what triggered that? I'm just curious that, this is a different guy than the guy I was talking to 7-8 years ago. As your corporate environment, did that have an impact, or you as a businessman?
It was more personal introspection. Kasi parang there was a time, I remember when it happened and the instances why it happened. So it was one day, ako kasi, pag nalulungkot ako minsan, I would go to meron ako restaurant na paborito Leching. Yun sa Vira Mall, sa Shopsville. So, Leching. Yung congee.
Yeah.
So, nung bata ako, doon ako dinadala ng dad ko pag malungkot ako. Tapos basta one time malungkot ako, pumunta ako doon, kumakain ako. Tapos alam mo yung nagkaroon ka lang ng major introspection kasi siguro namimiss ko rin yung dad ko noon. Tapos parang I was thinking, why is it na parang ang money walang value sa akin? Parang ang money for me is something na gusto ko lang gastusin. But bakit ang money for me walang takot? Parang kung may gusto akong bilhin ko, I can make more. Parang gano'n, di ba? So there was that attitude, there was that thinking. But then I realized when I look back, it was really a lot of it was because of how I was brought up and how there was some sort of resentment sometimes with some members of the family with how money was spent and stuff like that. I won't go into detail on that one.
Okay.
But more or less, it was making peace with what happened in the past, forgiving some things that happened. And after that happened, nagbago talaga yung tingin ko sa pera. Parang it didn't become anymore a tool to satisfy a particular urge or craving. It was really parang, okay, so it's really just a tool. Parang how you use it ultimately depends on what the status of your heart and mind is. Parang ganon. So nung nagkaroon ako ng semblance of peace, dun siya naging mas maayos.
Wow, I'm sure your wife is very happy with that piece of yours.
Okay naman siya so far.
Okay,
So yun.
very important. I think it's not just about do this, do that. It's also, kasi, di ba, as I say, money is behavioral, it's not mechanical, no? Because, we can earn and we can also spend it. Yun yung mga ganun bagay. And no amount of financial literacy can change something until you have that introspect. And I'm happy. Finally, I'm happy you're doing that. Kaya nga, when you started to talk about stocks and everything, and I was reading that stuff, I thought somebody hacked your account. So, and all these things. So, who's this guy? But I'm happy that where you are right now. And I'm happy that those are not toys. Those are inventory. I mean, they're not toys. They're inventory now. And I've got some of them,
Mataas yung value eh. So doon ako
I think,
natutuwa.
we have to be honest with each other. Some of them are still toys, but it's okay. Diba? It's okay. Diba? I mean, because a lot of them are stuff that inventory. Now, Carlo, last question ko. And I want to, so thank you. I know you're so busy. Kung di dahil sa lockdown, probably will not have this discussion. Because I know we were planning to have dinner for the last 4 years. That never really happened.
Tutuloy din yan someday.
Ngayon lang hindi pwede. No? So, but, people are so, right now, the predominant behavior to people are, the feeling right now is fear, panic, and chaos and stuff like that. And you seem to be at peace. You seem to be okay. You seem to, you seem to be smiling a lot and stuff like that. How do you prevent people from giving into fear? How can you share whatever hope that is that you, sorry, it sounds so, I don't know, so frivolous, but hope is very important now. And I want people to experience that. And that's why I'm doing more of this video that I don't, not comfortable with. But why are you at peace right now? Why are you still hopeful?
Well, siguro first, it really has a lot to do with your faith.
Mm-hmm.
So,
hindi mo pwede alisin yun, ano?
Hindi kasi it affects your worldview and your life view in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's one hole that a lot of people try to plug in their entire life, but they don't realize na whatever they stuff in there, iisa lang yung makakapuno ng butas na yun, di ba? So, for me, that's a very big thing. And once you have that in place kasi, then there are things that you realize and that there are things that you see that happen around you that na parang, God is there.
Mm-hmm.
Di ba? And when you know God is there, God is in your side, parang, why are you fearful? Di ba? My favorite image is yung sa Narnia. Ewan ko kung napanood niyo yun eh. Yung si Lucy ba yun, yung girl na maliit. Tapos may parating na sobrang daming hordes of armies about to attack her. Tapos lumabas si Aslan, of course, which is the representation of the author ni Christ. Tapos parang nung sumigaw yung lion, nung nag-roar yung lion, parang basta natalo lahat ng crowd. So parang yun yung lagi kong mindset when it comes to faith and when it comes to God. Now there are times that it becomes fearful, it becomes difficult, and kami ni Mitch, we've been through a lot, and there are times na minsan talaga gusto ko na talaga to throw in the towel. But knowing, alam mo yun, that you have God in your corner, it's a powerful thing. So yun yung una. Second, on a more sabihin natin like practical level, you have to realize na the default is really fear. The default is really anxiety. That the default is the negative part because that's the situation and that's the environment. Now, once you recognize na yun yung default, the next step is to have the courage and the intent to hope. Mm-hmm. So, hindi default ang hope. You have to accept the default of the current situation is fear, anxiety, and worry. So, once you will yourself and you pray to God for strength to actually hope every day, then it becomes so much more different. Kasi you are really asking for grace and you're really telling your body and your mind to hope. And yung maganda doon, when you have a more hopeful perspective, you start to see more opportunities versus just being fearful. So for example, if you're just at home, I'm not sure if people who are at home will realize this. You have so much time now, di ba? Ang daming oras. I mean, imagine how many new skills you can learn now, di ba? So ako, I've been reading a lot about stocks. I've been reading a lot about trading. I've been reading a lot about all the companies that I'm looking into. As in, pinag-aaralan ko yung history nila, kung ano yung plano nila, binubuksan ko lahat ng mga disclosure nila. Otherwise, if it were a normal day, I don't think I'd have that time. So parang, I think there's so much to look forward to if you have hope. But again, it goes back to you taking that first step.
Yeah.
To choose hope over the default. Lalim nun.
Like, wow, Carlo, I haven't spoken to you in a long time. I could have, I'm really, if it's really Carlo I'm speaking to right now, it only means that I haven't communicated with you in a long, long time. But really, I'm really so happy your perspective, your views, and I'm glad you now have a platform and you can actually tell people about these things and show them, I'm really amazed at your ability to dumiskarte, di pa uso gig economy, uso na sa'yo yun, So, these things are very, very helpful. Just parting words for, my view is a little bit different than yours. We're not sneakerheads, these things. And I'm happy you haven't given into TikTok, but
hindi ko kaya yun. Tingnan ko, hindi ko kaya.
I told my followers, kung nakita niyo na ako mag-TikTok, kabahan kayo, baka end of the world na. But
yun ang kahit ako hindi ko.
I mean, you can find yourself to be more productive in certain things. Any last words that you want to leave to those watching this video right now?
Siguro apart from the notion of of choosing hope, I think most of the people who are watching today are people who are in a position to help, are in a position to make things better. Kasi I think the best way that you can help and we can help the country is to take care of the people in our immediate circle. So if everybody does that, I think that all adds up. So take a look at sabihin natin kung sino yung mga tao around your community that needs help. Yung mga guards that are sleeping in, sabihin natin sa mga condo, yung mga tao na nasa checkpoint, frontliners. Do you know any friends or family members who are frontliners? Do you know any people na affected sobrang ng lockdown? Yun yung mga kailangan ninyong tulungan. So if you are in a position to help, which I think most of you are, then be a blessing to others. Kasi sobrang laking privilege to have a home, internet connection, money, and food right now. It is talagang sobrang privilege siya. And I think it is also a test of your heart. Now that you're in this situation, what do you do with that privilege? So are you just going to sit down and enjoy it? Or baka you should be more sensitive na God is actually calling you to bless others and be part of the solution. Ako yun talaga yung tingin ko. So kami ni Mitch talaga, we've been thinking on how we can help as much as possible kasi once you start reading the news and you see how bad it is, may nagkakaroon na ng guilt parang parang nakaka-guilty tumira sa condo na to. Parang gano'n. so yun.
A lot of expensive rubber shoes.
Ay, marami na ako nabentang shoes, di ba? So yun, ako yun. So be a blessing to others, especially to those in your immediate circle.
Thank you, Carlo. I mean, I'm really so happy with you, bro. We've been friends for the longest time, but I think guilty rin ako. I have not really reached out to you for a long time, but you're not the same Carlo I remember. A much better person today. And not that you were not a good person before, okay?
Medyo lang.
But all these things. And you guys know, I'm going to put in the links, yung mga how we can get in touch. I know you have Unbox. I know there's Carlo Ople. I know I can't even remember all of these sites that you have. Maybe I'm going to ask you. I'm going to put it in the links. And I don't have the readership or the viewership that you have, but what you've been teaching us, telling us is really, really helpful. So thank you. And, my best regards to you, to Mitch, and could keep on continue what you're doing. You know, I want to tell you that, Carlo, you are actually a salt and light, and continue to be that salt and light, and continue that relationship that you have with the Lord, and continue to, glorify Him in anything that you do. I'm again proud of you, bro, and really happy to do it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless.